Dante Alighieri. He was not only one of the best poets of all time, but also the father of the Italian language. The Divine Comedy literature masterpiece is not only the second biggest Christian story ever told, but also the most powerful love story ever written. The one of a man that went through the worst of the afterlife to finally consummate his love relationship at the gate of paradise. Dante's vision of hell, purgatory, and paradise inspired more art, literature, and philosophy than any poet in history. His powerful story crafted the view of hell, purgatory, and paradise shared by all of Western civilization. You are about to experience a journey to the worst of the afterlife for the first time, a powerful, electrifying first glimpse of what hell is really like. Strange mythological beasts, torture like no human can stand in the flesh. And finally, meet face to face with Lucifer, the devil himself, the king of hell. Inferno, a dreadful place of suffering and torture. So now, the real journey to the center of the earth begins.
Siamo nel 1300, Dante ha 35 anni. L'opera comincia con questi versi. Nel mezzo del cammin di nostra vita mi ritrovai per una selva oscura che la diritta via era smarrita. La strada gli viene chiusa da queste tre belve feroci. Il leone, la lonza, la lupa. Ed ecco che arriva un personaggio in suo aiuto. È Virgilio.
Virgilio soccorre Dante in un momento in cui si sente lacerato. Dante è profondamente confuso, ha perso la rotta, l'orientamento, dopo questo grande amore che lo ha vincolato in terra e che non è mai stato consumato con Beatrice. Si ritrova in una selva oscura, un sentiero inestricabile, irto, pieno di conflitti, pieno di paure, e comincia il suo percorso di espiazione, di autoriconoscimento, e ha bisogno di una guida. La guida è Virgilio, l'unica persona che potrebbe portarlo dall'altra parte, l'unica persona che potrebbe davvero aiutarlo in questo percorso di espiazione. Virgilio rappresenta la ragione, è tutto ciò che può essere accessibile attraverso la ragione. Virgilio è stato chiamato da Beatrice per dargli questa meravigliosa commissione.
Beatrice, this beautiful essence of God, she's so angelic and warm and represents all aspects of being a woman that God created. And she's holy, she's angelic, and she sits up in heaven. And she sees her love, Dante, fight to pursue her. And he goes into this land where it's obstructed by tormenting deserts and disease and evil. And she sees this, and so her heart breaks, because that's her love pursuing her. And so what she does is she cries to God and she says, God, please, I want to be able to help my love. And so Beatrice goes down and meets Virgil. And Virgil is taken back by this beautiful essence coming through the sky. And I mean, he's never seen anything like this before, because he's in a place of torment where it talks about the burning and the smells are so painful. Virgil cannot believe someone so holy is coming to him, and God allowed that. And Beatrice commissions Virgil to be able to be the guide, the guardian for Dante.
Dante ritrova il suo maestro, è un ritrovamento meraviglioso, si arriva fino alle porte dell'inferno, cominciano i cerchi.
The 9 circles of hell: limbo, lust, gluttony, avarice, wrath, heresy, violence, fraud, treason.
Diciamo che se noi incontriamo nell'inferno, a ogni cerchio una figura, un personaggio caratteristico, in realtà Caronte in qualche modo è come se rappresentasse tutto l'inferno nel suo insieme. Caronte è il traghettatore. In ogni grande passaggio della Divina Commedia abbiamo un personaggio che è un intermediario, un traghettatore, che prende Dante e lo porta dalla parte che lui ancora deve conoscere e esplorare.
First circle, limbo. Here reside the unbaptized and the virtuous pagan, those who are not sinful, yet were born before Christ, as Aristotle, Socrates, Homer, Plato. The souls here are not punished, but rather grieve only their separation from God, without hope of reconciliation until the second coming of Christ. Minos, the judge of hell.
It's very interesting when we meet Minos, the sort of caretaker of hell in essence. He doesn't want to reveal to Dante that they could have been redeemed in their normal life, but due to the fact that they're unredeemable at this point because they are in this circle of hell.
Second circle, the lustful.
Paolo and Francesca is a very interesting piece when you look at the Divine Comedy. When Dante explains how these two people come together and their sins are transmitted in this canter of lust, I found this piece to be very, very emotional in aspect because Dante not only is a poet, but he also expresses his emotions very well when he's told the story by Francesca. Paolo and Francesca were lovers, but they weren't normal lovers because Francesca was married to Paolo's older brother. And once Paolo's older brother found out about the alleged affair that has been going on for a very long time, Paolo's older brother murdered both of them. And it's so almost Shakespearean in the sense that it's very touching how they go from one end of the story right to the bottom. And even though they both know that they are in love and they are lovers in hell, not in heaven, which is probably the most poetic thing that Dante wanted to get across. So it's really touching to me in this aspect because Dante discovers that as Francesca's telling her story, Paolo, the gentleman who was with Francesca, the two sinners who had I believe a decade of an affair together, he begins to weep and cry, and Dante really expresses a lot of pity for them, especially when Paolo is weeping, to the point where actually Dante begins to weep and actually faint.
Third circle, the gluttons.
Dante tells us that although there are much greater punishments, the most unpleasant punishment of all is suffered by the gluttons in the third circle of hell. The gluttons committed the sin of gluttony, attaching an almost godlike sensation to food and wine which they consumed in excess when they were alive. The gluttons have no corporal body, rather they're the most spirit-like of all the tormented souls in hell. They must spend their days stuck in the mud and the mire and pummeled by an unceasing foul-smelling rain. Now that's bad enough, but add their tormentor, Cerberus, to the mix, and the punishment becomes even more unpleasant. Now, Dante is alluding to the three-headed dog in Greek mythology that guards Hades' gates, but Dante adds his own twist. Cerberus has red eyes, his belly is stuffed to the brim, his teeth are fanged, his limbs are clawed. And he's described as being a worm, which to me gives a sense of fluidity to his movements that makes him even more terrifying. He seizes the gluttons and he flails them around and they start to howl, and their howling matches his own howling. He can't be satiated at all because of his gluttonous nature. The only way to silence him, as Virgil does, is to scoop up handfuls of mud and feed the mud to him.
Here reside the avaricious.
Avarice, which means insatiable greed. Dante pictures popes and cardinals and priests living in that place of eternal torment.
Fifth circle, the wrathful. In the swamp-like water of the river Styx reside the wrathful, who fight each other on the surface.
Phlegyas takes Dante and Virgil across the river Styx. Now, the river Styx is the place where the wrathful are consigned. They are in this marshy, foul water, and they are people who have lived in anger and wrath. And the river Styx is agitated by their kicking and biting and scratching and fighting with each other, which causes the agitation of the river Styx. And it's also interesting that underneath the river, in the bottom of the river, are the sullen, those who lived in anger but never expressed it, who are choking, so to speak, or drowning on their own anger. And these are called the sullen, who are under the river Styx. So Dante and Virgil are on Phlegyas's boat going across the river Styx, and Dante sees a shade, one of the souls, come out and seems to try to want to get on the ship. Dante is very disdainful. So, who are you in your ugliness? And the shade answers, I am one who weeps. Then Dante recognizes him as Filippo Argenti, who was an actual political enemy of Dante's. Virgil was very proud of Dante for doing this and hugged him and praised him, in his eyes, rightful contempt for these sinners. And his now loss of compassion for them is very interesting in that that is considered a very positive development on Dante's part, that Virgil praises him for this.
The river Styx separates the upper hell from lower hell. Lower hell, violence and fraud. The lower parts of hell are contained within the walls of the city of Dis, which is itself surrounded by the Stygian marsh. Punished within Dis are active rather than passive sins.
There's this incredible fire, and these three Furies appear, and they are Medusa's servants. And the Furies have got these, they're clawing, they're covered in blood, they're three women, they appear to be women, and they're clawing their breasts, and they've got this horrible sound, so that Dante is just holding his ears. And they say to Dante and Virgil, we'll bring on our queen of sorrows, which is Medusa.
The messenger of God, from what I understand that Dante Alighieri wrote, is always guiding Dante and Virgil through all the chasms of hell, though we do not see the messenger of God. The messenger always acts as a guardian angel, and throughout the Bible, and I'll talk about the different accords of how the angels work, the angel of God is always with Dante and Virgil, but we do not see. The angels do not manifest themselves until it is absolutely necessary. And we see Dante and Virgil go through the fifth circle, and they come into the wall of Dis, and the demons do not even care, and they're slamming the door in their face, and Dante and Virgil cannot go any farther. And at that moment, when they lose complete hope, the angel recognizes that this is their time. The angel manifests himself, and he says, I bid thee go. And the power and the angelic presence of God opens that door, and the demons shake, and they fall down aside, and Dante and Virgil are allowed to proceed. And we see the messenger of God move throughout the chasms, through Dante and Virgil's journey.
Sixth circle. Here reside the heretics.
In Circle 6 of Inferno, it's essentially heresy. There is a statement, che l'anima col corpo morta famo. It means who makes with the body dead the soul. So when the body dies, the soul is dead too. And those who are in Circle 6 of hell, Dante sees them. It's not that he puts them there, it's almost he observes a condition or a degree of degradation.